This case is very pathetic, Mr. President, because we have a 2-year-old that was inadvertently shot and killed by NDLEA while they were carrying out some operations, and have the second child bullet into his eyes that has rendered that child almost blind. The reports, our investigation indicates that this child will need an extensive surgery to correct the eyes. We have engaged, we did engage NDLEA to show humaneness in trying to help the family, at least with the dead child and the child whose eyes is almost going blind. The NDLEA, unfortunately, were not cooperating. They told us that they didn't have the finances, and so they were not offering anything, even to the family, for the 2-year-old child that was killed and buried, and for the child that is going blind. We had more than 3 sittings on this, and it became clear to us that NDLEA wasn't going to budge. They weren't going to help us to help this family. Therefore, we recommended that, given the grievances of the incident to the Omera family, that the Senate to direct the National Drug Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, to pay the sum of 200 million naira only to Fidelis Omera as compensation for the death of his 2-year-old son and his younger brother, who was shot in the eye, that may result in him going blind. Mr. President, this is our finding, and we truly believe that this family needs to be protected from such agency that I believe can pay, at least to ameliorate the loss, the huge loss to this family. Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, for the opportunity for us to interrogate this matter and to serve the average Nigerians who seek for justice in every sphere of life.
It's that in the 21st century that we are today, the operatives can go to somebody's house for whatever operation, kill somebody, maim the other one without remorse whatsoever. It is my opinion that these operatives be brought out and be prosecuted just like it happens in other countries. Recently, it happened in the US, sir. We saw where excessive force were used, and the security operatives were taken to court, and some of them are in jail. So we can't accept this in Nigeria, where we give you uniform, we pay you, and then you go and kill Nigerians that you are supposed to protect. So I subscribe that this family be paid this amount of compensation so that they can take care of the treatment of the second person who is shot in the eye, and also as a reparation for the one that was killed for not just reason. I so submit the Senate President. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. I want to commend the committee.
Mr. President.
But we have a slight constraint. Honestly, for a child to have died and for another child to have lost his eye and will require multiple surgeries, 200 million, if the surgeries are done outside the country, may not even be enough to restore the sight of one child. Not to talk of the loss of another child that probably would have grown up to be another millionaire or billionaire. And the family has been denied the opportunity of seeing that child. The pain is too much. So So we must urge NDLEA to act with restraint. So 200 million is not too much, but there's a problem with our rules. So if you look at Rule 40, sub 6, I can read it for you. The Senate will not receive any petition which asks for a grant of public funds. The Senate will not receive any petition which asks for a grant of public funds unless the recommendation of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has been signified thereto. Leader, you have answer to that?
Yes, Mr. President. I'm just looking through the Order 40 sub 6. This is not a grant. We're not asking for a grant, Mr. President. This is more of a punitive and a deterrent measures against NDLEA. It's not a grant.
Sorry. Monetary compensation is a grant. You are requesting for monetary compensation that might not have been budgeted for, that would touch on the consolidated revenue fund of the Federation or the account of the monies of the Federation of Nigeria, because NDLEA is a 100% owned federal government organization. So for us to have that, it means that the President must have consented to financial compensation. So I think we can redraft our recommendation. You understand? To rather recommend that this Senate should recommend that Mr. President should assist the NDLEA to pay this monetary compensation. And I don't think it's something we just ask for payment and keep quiet. We should follow up. And even if they say we should, whenever they bring budget, we should budget for it. We should also ensure that we follow up and budget for it to make sure that this family is compensated. And you've already recommended 200 million. My opinion would have been that the amount should have been more than this. Or 200 million plus the cost of the restoration of the eye of the one that is still living. So that they will get 200 million compensation, and then the NDLEA will bear the cost of the medicals for the one that one eye is, that they are still attempting to restore one eye. This is very pathetic. I mean, there's no grammar we can speak here that can replace the pains that this family and the associates are going through. So, Chairman, you may wish to redraft this section in view of section 46, that there is no presidential assent. So you may wish to urge the Senate to work with legislative compliance to ensure that Mr. President assists to a monetary compensation of 200 million plus the cost of the surgeries needed by the second child whose eye was damaged by bullets and who requires multiple surgeries. So that it's not the same money that they will use for surgeries. In view of the fact that one child has already died, there must be an end to suffering. So if you can amend this recommendation to reflect what, and then bring it in line with our rules, we can go ahead and consider the recommendation. Can you work with Senator Garuba and redraft that section so that we can take it? We haven't even finished with one, but you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Mr. President, your explanation is quite compelling, and I have noted to the Attorney General of the Federation that this murderer wearing NDLEA uniform should be prosecuted according to Nigerian law with regards to the with regards to murder. The laws are clear. For the one that is who is alive and they need to treat and all of that, fine. Whatever needs to be done can be done. But for the killing of someone, officers need to know that the uniform is not a license to kill and go home and sleep with your own children. May it not happen to any of us. And money does not compensate for a loss of a child who is completely innocent. So my second in drafting the prayers is that the Senate do recommend to the Attorney General of the Federation that they should further investigate this case with a view to prosecuting the officer or officers involved in this avoidable murder of a Nigerian child. I so submit, Mr. President.
Yes, let me say that the information available is that the officer in question is being prosecuted. So they are not treating.
That the Senate do recommend that the Senate urge the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to assist NDLEA in the payment of 200 million naira in compensation for the death of the 2-year-old. Two, that NDLEA be made to pay for the medical expenses, including surgeries, for the restoration of the eye of the second child. Three, that the Committee on Compliance follow up with these recommendations and report back to Senate in 2 months.
Any seconder? Senator Shiru, he's amending the prayers.
He has probably missed out the issue of prosecuting.
Distinguished colleagues, we must thank the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions for the painstaking manner in which they dispose of this petition. But because of how serious it is, we do something out of the extraordinary. We observe 1 minute silence in honor of the dead child. Secondly, we have a motion on ground proposing that the Senate should urge Mr. President to approve a financial compensation of 200 million to be paid to the family of the dead child as a result of the negligence or negligent action of the NDLEA staff as soon as practicable. Second leg of the motion is to the effect that the NDLEA should bear the full cost of the surgeries and medical treatment of the second child who has a bullet lodged in one of his eyes. The third prayer is that our Committee on Legislative Compliance should monitor the situation closely, follow up from the Presidency to the NDLEA and to the family, and revert to this Senate in 2 months. Prayer 1, observe 1 minute silence in honor of the dead child. Those in support of the prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, urge the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to, through the NDLEA, compensate this family with a sum of 200 million for the loss of the child and the disability of the second child. Those in support of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, urge the Senate Committee on Legislative Compliance to monitor the situation on the compensation, the treatment, and the surgeries on the second child, and revert to the Senate in 2 months. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, please, despite the fact that this was a child, this is very pathetic. On behalf of the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our heart goes out to the family of the deceased child, which is also the family of the very injured child. And we are praying that God will console them and restore the sight of the second child that had been damaged. And we will follow up. And individually, we should also try to know the families so that we can also render assistance on our own personal capacities as the people's representative to these families. We express our condolence, and we now urge our colleagues to rise to observe 1 minute silence for this child who was a Nigerian and could have been a leader tomorrow. May the soul of the 2-year-old Onosereba Omoria, who was mistakenly shot by an NDLEA officer in an operation in Asaba, rest in perfect peace.